Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Colorbar, episode 36, we've learned.
Episode 36. I can't believe it's 30. Happy 36.
Happy 36. Yeah, we haven't been able to say that in a while.
No, we can't.
Yeah, no, we can't.
And we haven't.
One of my girlfriends was like, I'm going to stay 39 forever. I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. But anyway, long story
And I already date myself on this podcast, so it is way too late for me.
Yes. So. Well, episode 36 and episodes prior, we've been talking a lot about direct mail. We've been talking a lot about print is life.
Yes, we have.
But in order for any of that to happen, direct mail or print, we've got to have paper.
We have to have something to put ink on.
We've got to have something to put ink on. So I'm really excited to have AJ Layo on Colorbar with us today. We've just recently have met via email and other conference calls, and then finally got a chance to meet in person at D-Scoop last week. And just another great marketer and a lover of print and our industry. So really excited. AJ, hello, good morning. Welcome to Colorbar.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. This is fun.
Yeah. AJ is with Sylvamo.
Yes.
Which was international paper. And AJ, as we were driving in this morning, I've made this drive to the studio so many times. And as I'm driving in, there's an international paper facility across the street.
Okay, interesting.
I know. So anyway, I was like, well, that's pretty fitting for a conversation later.
It must be a box plant. I need to do some research.
Yeah, we're on, what street are we on? Lancaster or something, off of Orange Blossom in Orlando. So
okay.
Anyway. Well, thank you.
How was D-Scoop real quick? Because, we kind of hopped in, with our last, chat.
Yes.
And so how was it? Since you both were there, I know Dave was there, who we have had on before from Mind Fire. So since we're kind of
Francis was there, Kelvin and John, a lot of past Colorbar guests
were there. It was a Colorbar reunion.
It was a Colorbar reunion.
Nice.
Yep. Well, I'll toss that to AJ because it was your first time to attend.
Yeah, so it's been 10 years since we've been to D-Scoop, but it was great. I mean, I came back with so many ideas. I'm already trying to incorporate some stuff that I learned about in some of our future marketing pieces. And it was really just great to connect with a lot of the printers and then just all the people there. It was high energy, a great location. So we'll definitely be back.
That's awesome. So it was in Denver again, which is, we were all talking 4 years ago is whenever I chaired for the first time in Denver, and it was the first time we'd had D-Scoop since COVID. And so this year was like a reunion for all of us kind of coming back and seeing how it's changed. But that's great. So to kick off, just talk to our audience a little bit about Sylvamo and about your background and history in the print industry.
Yeah, so I have been with International Paper / Sylvamo for over 20 years. And right now, my current role is I'm the marketing manager for our printing papers brands. So a lot of brands that you might recognize, Accent Opaque, Williamsburg, Spring Hill, Hammermill, and just really supporting our marketing initiatives around those brands. So to give you a little history on Sylvamo, we spun from International Paper a little over 4 years ago. We're two completely separate companies now. So IP makes boxes, basically, and then Sylvamo makes paper. And I think the great thing about our company is we only make uncoated free sheet paper. That's all we do. So we're very focused on that job. We've got 2 mills in North America. One mill is in upstate New York, and one mill is in South Carolina. And then we've got other mills around the world in Europe and in Brazil. And just this year at Sylvamo, we are investing about $150 million into our paper machine in South Carolina and our sheeting facility there in South Carolina. So something we're really proud of because, you don't hear about paper mills investing money these days. So I think it really just shows like the longevity of our company, and we're going to be around for a while. We're not going anywhere, and we're investing, in paper.
Love that. What, so we just were talking about this morning about the whole print is dead thing is just not a thing. Like it's not.
Right.
And for you guys to be making that kind of investment, you have to be seeing that marketers are embracing the tangible again. What are you seeing? Like, what does that resonate whenever I say that marketers are embracing that again? And what does that mean for you guys in the paper space?
Yeah, I mean, we believe print is not dead. With this investment, we're adding capacity. So we'll be adding about 60,000 tons of capacity. So we've got to find ways to fill this machine. So yes, we believe in it. We all have a lot more years to sell paper and print. So, it's not going anywhere. Of course, we watch the numbers, we study the data. So, we're watching the direct mail volumes. We did see there was about a 5% decline last year. So we're studying, what verticals are investing in print, what verticals are declining in print. And we spend a lot of time trying to talk to those brand owners to understand, why the change, but also help educate them on the value of print and why it's important and why it works and how we can track the ROI on mail, and really trying to encourage, brand owners to continue to send print. So it's not going anywhere. And we're just happy to have that investment to hopefully, be the partner of choice when it comes to uncoated paper.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Just the science and the data and being able to know, not only what brands are, investing in print and in direct mail and how that's, working, and just in probably different even product lines within brands.
Yeah.
As far as using direct mail or print in general as a marketing vehicle to reach, consumers.
Yeah. Well, and I have to admit, whenever I first learned of Sylvamo and the collaboration, and I'll let you speak to that more, but I was always like, I don't understand the connection between you guys investing. And again, I'll let you speak to this, but hearing what you just said about being able to put the numbers behind why people should be printing. Now that makes sense as to why Sylvamo has decided to make that investment. Talk about that intelligent paper that you guys are supporting.
Yeah, so we love paper, of course, that's what we do, but we do believe there has to be that balance between print and technology. And we're really studying innovation in our industry. And that's where I met Dave at Mindfire. And we really started talking, and I started to learn about his company and what they do. And so we came up with this program called Intelligent Paper. And what we're offering is to brand owners, we will actually pay for that technology up to about 350,000 pieces. And people are asking, well, why would you do that? And really what we're trying to do is encourage these brand owners to try something new, try this new technology, remove any barrier that they might have to embrace something like that for no additional risk or cost. Of course, we want that project to be printed on our paper. We won't provide the paper, but we will provide the technology. And really what we're asking for in return is the anonymized data so that we can go back and create a case study so that we can continue to tell the story to the whole industry and to our customers, the value of print and the value of mail and why it works, and really put data behind that story.
It's a great story. I mean, it's amazing. Like, just even when you kind of were filling me in before we all got on, and I was like, that's like brilliant. I think, it's new, and we were already kind of talking about how trying something new is usually the thing people like to do the least, right? But
change is hard.
It is hard, but we do have to look at things differently. And I think if you're able to provide a value where you're taking some of that fear or work out of the equation, like, you go with what you know for right now, we're gonna help you with this. And then really see how that combination of the technology with the print really does tell a very powerful, impactful story once it gets to the mailbox.
Yep. I
It's fun to talk about, it's really fun to show that piece and to see people's eyes light up when they are having that two-way conversation with the piece of mail. And so it's kind of re-energized our team a little bit to go out and be kind of the leader in some innovation in the industry.
So we collaborated at speaking of D-Scoop. So we used Sylvamo paper. The Mindfire team put together one of the DMAI campaigns about Denver, so people could, ask questions about Denver while we were there. And then Sandy Alexander printed it. So this collaboration that we were just talking about, we actually put to use while we were at D-Scoop to let people learn about it. And I actually just posted last night. We're in the midst of our direct mail campaign that we're and a methodology that we're calling Bolt. And a part of that is leveraging technology on the build side of, leveraging technology in this omni-channel approach. But in my comments, I was saying this campaign is hypothetical. Like we at Sandy are drinking our own Kool-Aid and putting all of these things to use, the technology, utilizing different papers, utilizing different formats to be able to tell the story, both digital and in print.
Multi-channel.
Yeah. So you were talking about putting together case studies. As we've gone, we're drafting the case study of this campaign, and we're going to publish it at the end to let everybody know our own results and just how strategically we got there and our thought processes and all the back and forth and,
and how it all comes together. Because sometimes that can also be the overwhelming part. So it's kind of like, here's a roadmap.
Yes.
To get you to where you need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And your conversations with some of the buyers that you guys work with, what are people's hesitations? Where are people recognizing the opportunity as you're having those conversations?
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because we'll show it, and I think they get overwhelmed, like, where do I even begin?
Yeah.
And that's really where, we're telling our customers, we can help you. We can help you through this process. We can help you create the technology. We can help you connect with Mindfire, like all the things. So it's really just kind of putting their minds at ease a little bit that we are here to kind of guide them through that process. And really, again, we're trying to just be more than just a paper manufacturer. We're trying to be their partner in helping them try some new things. Yeah. So yeah, it's always that big concern is that's cool, but how do I execute?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And as far as execution, that's great, but the other but that we get all the time is, but postage is the most expensive thing, and so we're not going to do direct mail anymore. And I know that you guys are also really closely involved with the post office, USPS, and talk a little bit about where you're also seeing opportunities or helping try to educate consumers about postage and what we can do there.
So we saw a real need when talking with not only our printers but our brand owners that they just truly didn't understand or had even heard of the USPS promotions. And so what we started to do is we have a really great webinar series called Pressing Issues, where we partner with the USPS to really walk through not only what are the promotions, what is the purpose, but we have one that's kind of a very tactical, how to execute the promotions. We've had a lot of engagement on those. And then we even created a really cool marketing piece. We call it the USPS Promo Toolkit that walks you through each promotion and has an example. So like the tactile promotion, we have an example of a textured envelope. We have our intelligent paper on the piece, so that's part of that interactive promotion. So what we're trying to do is just make suggestions on small tweaks for our customers to make on their direct mail piece to not only improve the engagement of the piece, but to also help them take advantage of that promotion. And in addition to, just educating on the different promotions and the timing and all that, we've worked with USPS to pre-approve all of our Sylvamo paper. So everything that we make in North America is pre-approved to get that sustainability add-on. So we just want to make sure our customers know how to execute. I will say they don't make it easy. And so really having this like step-by-step instruction, I think really helps helps our customers. We're trying to help them save money wherever they can so that they continue to send mail.
Yeah. It's great. And the kit that you guys created is great. And I love the pressing issues. As soon as you said it, Kim and I both look at each other and go, oh, love that. So we will, for everybody, we will make sure that we add some information about your webinars and how people can access those and when you have them. And also, I'm assuming if people are interested in getting the kit, that you guys would be able to get that to any viewers that are interested. So
yes, we can get them signed up, and we're sending postcards throughout the year to the people who signed up for the kit, just to remind them of deadlines. Because it's you have to work with a lot of people within that direct mail ecosystem to execute a campaign like that. So we want to make sure people are aware of the timelines and the deadlines and what is needed to make sure that they can take advantage of the promotion.
Yeah, appreciate that. And we're trying to do the same as far as education and keeping people aware of it. But you brought up a good point, and I think we can't talk about paper without talking about sustainability. I can't imagine how many times you get that question. But you just mentioned also educating around the sustainability part. Talk a little bit about what you're hearing from marketers that came up at D-Scoop last week. Somebody asked the question, is sustainability still as relevant as a conversation as it's been in the past? What are your thoughts on that, and what are you guys being challenged with there?
Yeah, I would say it's even more relevant now. Really, it's because a lot of these brand owners are more educated on sustainability. You think about a lot of the big companies out there in these different verticals, financial service or insurance or healthcare, they all have their own sustainability report. Paper's a small part of, their goals. But really what we've learned is a lot of these big companies want to partner with a company like Sylvamo that has similar sustainability goals. So, it's just making sure that we tell our story. We've seen the questions change from, should we use paper to, now we need to use paper that we know is sustainably sourced. And so they're asking different questions like, where's the fiber from? Is it certified? You can just tell that these brand owners are becoming more educated on sustainability. And it's a story we love to tell because, it's something we're really proud of and the way that we do source our fiber and that we do manufacture our paper. Sustainability is really top of mind for us. So it's really, not never an issue when customers are asking us those questions. Again, we're just proud to tell our story.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about, and thank you for that, because it's something that we struggle with. You get those RFPs sometimes and you're like, oh Lord.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not trying, so we lean on our paper merchants and partners a lot to help us tell that story, or we get thrown a lot of, I need this durability, or I need this to happen from the piece, but I also need it to have all these sustainable. And so our first call is to folks like Sylvamo going, help us figure this out. So keep us educated as much as you can too.
And I think we've evolved so much so where performance and sustainability can coexist. You can still have a really great sheet that's going to perform on your press and look beautiful and still be sustainably sourced. And so I think that's exciting, and we can help you with that. So if you get those crazy questions, we can help you answer those.
Well, that's good. We need a source.
We do.
Well, and I think the story's changed too. In addition with buyers being potentially more educated, because sustainability, when we started out, it wasn't sustainable. It was, do you want a recycled sheet?
Right.
And that was a different journey. And then you kind of got into the sustainability like early 2000s maybe, like with FSC and SFI and all and all of those certifications when they kind of started coming out, and the story started to change a little bit from sourcing and being sustainable and bringing that story to market and educating people on that. So I think it's interesting how the questions have evolved as well as just that in that space.
Right. Well, speaking of evolution and evolving, are you seeing things change in the marketplace with what I'm sure you guys work with brands directly oftentimes as well. Are you seeing any trends, seeing anything changing on the horizon that brands are talking about?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. One thing we're really focused on right now is extended producer responsibility, which is basically the state government's putting the responsibility of recycling onto the brand owners. So say you're a brand owner and you mail a piece of mail into the state of Colorado. It's who pays to recycle that piece once they've looked at it. So we're trying to help our brand owners understand and navigate that regulation. It's hard because each state has different rules. That we've also done a webinar series on that, and again, we're just trying to kind of be the thought leader in this place and help our customers figure it out. But really, I would say what's changed is more behind the scenes. When you think about, we've talked a little bit about like the direct mail ecosystem. Used to we would make the paper and deliver it to the printer and not really think about what happened next.
Yeah.
And so I think the change that's happened is really with all the different pieces in that ecosystem between the paper and the technology and the brand owner and the designer and the USPS, and how everyone within that system is working together better now to make sure that that mail is delivered and that it's effective. And then of course now we're really starting to talk about the data that we can now generate when we do all work together to help our brand owners just prove that ROI and that effectiveness of mail. So a lot of that conversation and change, I think, is more behind the scenes. And I think that's exciting, that we are starting to work together and collaborate to make sure the pieces of the puzzle fit together.
Isn't it so crazy? I mean, I do think about that. We say this to our customers all the time. Like, we want to be sitting at the table as you guys are coming up with the initial strategy, because there are all these other pieces to the puzzle that we can bring in to help make the campaign more successful and get the ROI that you've talked about. And so the fact that a paper company, a print company, a tech company, the USPS, and a brand are all coming together to make this happen is something that we wouldn't have been talking about.
No.
Even
Yeah.
10 years ago or whatever. So I love that that we're all recognizing that we're going to thrive more together than separately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially understanding, and plus this, I think the earlier that you're brought in, to your point, especially with certain promotions and things along those lines, there are certain dates, there's certain actions that so just keeping it aligned and everybody on the same page, so to speak. I'm here all week, people. I'm here all week. Is super important. And the sooner that you are involved strategically, you can help build.
Yes. Yeah.
You can help build really intelligent, intelligent campaigns that perform. I mean, if
Right.
everybody's kind of in a silo, you're not set up to succeed as much as you are if everybody's, like I said, aligned and you're looking at what are we trying to do? Like, what is the goal of this piece? What do we want from this campaign? And then bringing everybody who has expertise in that all in the room together makes a huge difference on the back end.
Well, and I said this at the very top of the conversation, that I think that marketers are recognizing that having that tangible printed piece is impactful now, and that buyers, consumers, clients are responding to it. And so it's upon us to help them figure out ways to be able to tell that story up to the C-suite, to be able to let them know that what we're doing, ink on paper, is making an impact. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Used to, I feel like paper was always kind of an afterthought, let's design the piece and do all the things. And then let's think about the paper. And now, I do feel like we have a seat at the table, and like you guys said, just that collaboration. And really the goal is, the purpose of the piece, like how can we all work together to make that purpose more meaningful to achieve whatever that, the goal is, the call to action is on that piece. And it works.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been talking about the purpose part of the piece. We've talked about that a lot lately on Colorbar. I love it. So we've been doing kind of these fire questions, fire rounds of questions. So I have some for you. The power of paper in one word.
Well, we touched on it a little bit. I'm going to say renewable. There's not many industries out there that use a renewable resource. We have more trees now in the US than we did 20 years ago. So I feel like that's what makes, using paper okay. And that's why we like to educate our customers. It's okay to use paper. We're planting more trees. It's good for the environment, when you use a sustainably managed forest. I think the word is renewable.
I love that. And it's so interesting that you put that, you give us that take on it, because sometimes we still have conversations with customers that they're like, but our consumers, if we print, they see it as a negative. They see us not being responsible. And so I love that you've presented a whole different perspective that we should be sharing more.
Yes. It's a good story.
It is a good story.
It's a good story.
And Two Sides North America, they've got a great website where you can, they provide like some myth busters, which is a great resource, as you guys are planning conversations with customers to, put their minds at ease a little bit, that it is okay to use paper.
Love that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to share that website too, and I'm gonna need to put that in my Rolodex.
Yep.
So
I already saw the wheels turning, Betsy. I already saw them going. So
I love it. We love to learn.
Yes.
We love to learn more. So we've been talking about direct mail. So another question was, if direct mail was a personality, how would you describe it?
Okay, well, I would say when done correctly,
Ooh.
when that purpose is there and you're not spraying and praying, I would describe it as the thoughtful overachiever. And so what I mean by that is the mail's personalized. I kind of would describe you guys like this too, because I see it as overdressed in a beautiful piece and then bring some value to the table. So, and that's the overachiever aspect of it.
I love that. And thank you. She gave us a compliment. I don't know
thank
if you
you.
Yes, I like it.
I got stuck on that note.
No, the thoughtful overachiever. Ooh, I like that a lot.
That's very good.
And I love that you gave a disclaimer, by the way.
Yeah, when done correctly.
When done correctly.
When done correctly.
Let me give a disclaimer here.
Otherwise, we have the sloppy underachiever. But
We don't want that.
We don't want that. We don't want that. So Kim and I tease all the time that we are shoppers, as you kind of just alluded to, and that we love a catalog moment. We do the Toys R Us catalog, get our pens out, start making notes. What is still that one piece of direct mail that you still love to get when you go to the mailbox?
So my favorite piece are holiday cards. In fact, I literally just put mine up from the holiday, but nothing makes me happier than getting that card in the mail and seeing all my beautiful friends and family members, and just I look at them all the time. And so, and the fact that my friends, spent 78 cents on a stamp, to mail that to me and my family, like it just makes me so happy to start getting those every year.
I love that, and I just had a new family move in next door to me right at Christmas season, and she came and knocked on my door, and I'm like, who's that? What is happening? But so sweet. But they have like 4 or 5 children, and so on the back of it, they had given little notes about like what the kids were up to and kind of what their personalities were. And she's like, I just wanted to give you this. So when you see the kids in the neighborhood, you know them, you know their names, you know a little bit about them. It was the sweetest thing, but it was their Christmas card. But I love that they kind of gave little updates about the kids on it. And it was sitting on my kitchen counter forever, thinking about the new neighbors. Yeah.
Well,
and think about like technology too. Like maybe next year you're having a conversation with that family from your card. Who knows?
Exactly.
Like, with intelligent paper, you could do a little agent behind the scenes and have them ask about what's going on with the family.
I love that. It's a great idea.
Yes.
Okay, last but not least, we've been asking this question a lot that got teed up at the beginning of the year. Print is life. And Frances McMahon said this again at D-Scoop on stage last week. What does that mean to you when you hear print is life?
Well, I mean, it is a big part of my life, but what that means to me really is, when I think about it, I would say digital gets attention, but print gets remembered, and to me, that's life. You want to be remembered, and I think that's where print is life.
So good.
So good. I know. Isn't it fun? Like we talked about, we've been in this industry for so long, and you do just kind of get going and you just do it sometimes. But whenever we've stopped and reflected on that question of print is life, and it just, I don't know, it brings a new purpose and a new intention to what we're all out there doing every day. And thank you for being a part of that and a part of this new ecosystem and of making all of us better. And thank you for joining us on Colorbar.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we will share all things Sylvamo, and make sure that people are aware of your webinar and of all the other great resources and tools that you're bringing to the table to help all of us be better. So thank you.
Great.
Awesome. And thanks everybody for joining us on Colorbar, and we will see you again real soon.